Hello, void of the internet. Today I'm back with another personal interpretation of Mesopotamian mythology. So, the basis for what I'm going to talk about comes from something I experienced while journeying maybe a year or so ago. Then I had some insights about the interactions between Inanna, Ereshkigal, and Geshtinanna's domains while playing around in my worm bin, which brought me back to the previous experience. So, this is completely my own unverified personal gnosis regarding Ereshkigal and Geshtinanna. So, I was at Ereshkigal's shrine, and I had, I guess, a vision of Ereshkigal and Geshtinanna together in a romantic context. So, as far as I know, there is absolutely no archaeological data to back up the idea that these two goddesses were ever regarded in this way. I just want to make that clear. But I also wouldn't be surprised if a tablet featuring a supporting myth or hymn was someday uncovered. Anyway, I've been thinking about this scene from a mythological perspective. In the fall, Geshtinanna takes her brother Dumuzi's place in the underworld. The mythological basis for this myth likely having its roots in the agricultural cycle of the ancient Near East. At this time of year, the grapevines sacred to Geshtinanna, the grapevine of heaven, were cut back. This is also the time of year when baby goats sacred to Dumuzi were born. There isn't a whole lot of forage available for baby goats to eat at this time of year, except for the dying grapevines, which sustain them until more things can grow. This is Geshtinanna sacrificing herself so that her brother Dumuzi can live. So now, Geshtinanna goes down to the underworld to be with Ereshkigal. This is where my unverified personal gnosis, or UPG, comes in. Again, this is literally just my interpretation of what the gods showed me. So don't go citing this in a research paper or anything. I'm just some rando on YouTube. So I see Geshtinanna as representing life, and Ereshkigal as representing death, of course. So it would make sense to regard these two as lovers. Keep in mind, while I regard deities as individual entities with their own personalities and goals, rather than just as archetypes, they are also so not at all like humans. Our myths are for us to understand the gods in a way that our human brains can comprehend in their relationships to each other, nature, and to us, not literal recountings of historical events. So back to the idea of Ereshkigal and Geshtinanna as lovers. Life and death need each other. They aren't discrete things, but rather opposing and intertwining parts of a cycle. Life means nothing without death, and vice versa. Ereshkigal isn't torturing Geshtinanna during her time in the underworld. She is nurturing her, caring for her, loving her until she can return to the earth in the spring. Just as the worms in the earth break down dead, decaying matter to prepare it to nurture new seedlings in the spring. And Geshtinanna is traditionally described as Ereshkigal's scribe while she is in the underworld, just as it is our duty as the living to record and remember the deeds of our beloved dead so that they will never be forgotten. So in that way, they can continue living on forever. My patroness, Inanna, fits into this myth cycle that I've invented as well. She is the fertility of the land. She is also a great friend of her sister-in-law, Geshtinanna. Fertility of the land and animals is necessary to keep the cycle of life turning. She is sort of the catalyst for the whole process. She causes new animals and plants to be born. They live, they die, they return to the earth, and make it fertile for the cycle to begin again. I guess I'd see Dumuzi as a representation of living beings in this case, cared for by his older sister who represents life itself, married to Inanna, representing fertility, which keeps the species going, and taken to Ereshkigal's domain each summer when he dies in the scorching heat. Anyway, that's just my half-baked interpretation of the Smith cycle, incorporating my own UPG. UPGs are more useful, in my opinion, if you can figure out how they fit into what we already know about the gods. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.